Vasishta continued, even as ornaments made of gold are only gold, I am the pure consciousness in the body. Yes, ornaments fundamentally aren't ornaments, they are gold. And notions of our body are also consciousness. I am the self that pervades all things within and without. I think this idea of pervading things is a little bit misleading. It's actually non-different from everything. You get the idea that when we say it pervades everything, it somehow seeps into everything. It doesn't. It's of the essence. Everything is of the essence of this self. I am that consciousness which reflects all experiences without itself undergoing any change, and which is untouched by impurity. I salute that consciousness which is the bestower of the fruits of all thoughts, the light that shines in all luminaries, the supreme gain. That consciousness pervades all the limbs, ever awake and alert, vibrates constantly in all substances, and is ever homogeneous and undisturbed, as if it were in deep sleep, though wide awake. So it vibrates constantly in all substances. We shouldn't take this notion of vibration too literally and get into talk of higher frequencies of existence and all that stuff. I think we can understand vibrations as vibrancy. Vibrancy, it's what is alive, and we can get a sense of that within our own body. It's homogeneous and undisturbed in the sense that there's nothing we can say about it. It's the one thing, it's one thing. Awareness is one and indivisible. It's in deep sleep in the sense that it's not caught up in its dreams, and it's wide awake in the sense that there is full realization of the nature of things. That consciousness is the reality that bestows the individual characteristic on each and every substance in the universe, and though within all, and so nearest to all, is far on account of its inaccessibility to the mind and the senses. If you're identifying with the mind, if you're caught up with the mind and the senses, you're going to miss this. You need to let go of the mind, all your notions and notions of what the senses are up to. Continuous and homogeneous in waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and in the fourth transcendental state of consciousness, it shines when all thoughts have ceased, when all excitements have ceased, and when all hate has ceased. You can either be caught up in thoughts, which means being caught up in excitements and feelings, powerful feelings like hate and jealousy and so on. You can be caught up in all that, or you can be identifying, realizing the nature of your own awareness. You can't do both at the same time. The attention cannot be in two places at the same time. Your attention and the emotional drive of that attention are either identifying with some notion or another, or the attention is identifying with itself. I salute that consciousness which is devoid of desire and ego sense and cannot be divided into parts. Yeah, this saluting that goes on seems a little bit quaint. But salute here means to acknowledge and to appreciate. As we heard recently, it's all about recognizing it. Realization is about recognition. It's about recognition of awareness and of its nature, recognition and appreciation of it. I have attained that consciousness which is the indweller of all, and yet, though all is beyond diversity, it is the cosmic net in which the infinite number of beings are caught like birds. And this is when the infinite consciousness is operating as the cognitive process. We get caught up in it. In it all these worlds manifest, though in fact nothing has ever happened. It's like realizing a whirlpool is no different, is no other than the water. And we can step back from it and not get sucked into it. That consciousness is of the nature of being and non-being, and the resting place of all that is good and divine. It plays the roles of all beings, and it is the source of all affection and peace, though it is forever united and liberated. It is the life of all living beings, the uncreated nectar that cannot be stolen by anyone, the ever-existent reality. That consciousness which is reflected in sense experiences is yet devoid of them and cannot be experienced by them. Yes, if you're caught up in sense experiences, then you're not attending to your own attention. In it all beings rejoice, though it itself is pure bliss beyond all joy. So bliss is beyond joy. Bliss is the essential fabric of this consciousness. And it's bliss not as in the sense of bliss being an object. It's bliss in the sense of the absence of all negativity. It's like space, but beyond space. I've described before how space allows everything to exist. In the same way, consciousness as awareness allows all experiencing to happen. Glory is yet devoid of all expansions and glory. It's absolutely miraculous. Though seemingly it does all, it does nothing. All this is I, and all this is mine. It's all happening right here, in here. We are space for all this. So, in that sense, everything belongs to us in the most intimate manner. But I am not, and I am not other than I. So, there's no notion of I involved. But fundamentally, this I, our I, is what everything is. I have realized this. Let this world be an illusion or substantial. I am free from the fever of distress. We're no longer concerned with the illusory nature or whether it's substantial or not, because these are just notions which we can get caught up in. There's a little note from the translator to the effect that the verses that constitute the second paragraph above are inspiring. It's very inspiring.